Hey, what's up? My name is Jesse. This is the Auditoire, and I react to video game music for the first time. As a musician myself, and today is the return of Final Fantasy XII, one of the rarest games on the channel. I have not heard much of this game. I heard it once 4 years ago. I can't believe 2022 is 4 years ago. It doesn't sound right. And then last year when I did my desert themes video. And that's it. That's like my only experience. I know nothing of this game. But today we're going to be listening to Lowtown, followed by, I don't know if these titles are incorrect, but the request says Johara, Land of the Gareth. But here it says Esper, so let me know which one's correct. This is from the channel Synopsidae, and the other one is Hitoshi Sakamoto, the composer, requested by Pookster Prime. Okay, let's just get into it. I know nothing of 12. I just know it's this game that's... we'll talk about that later, but these are both kind of short. Let's go. Lowtown. Immediately puts me like in a temple setting. Okay, I wasn't expecting this. I kind of had an idea of what 12 sounds like, but I think I was wrong. Excuse me. Ugh. Okay, I like this. Claps. I just caught that. Yeah, it definitely sounds like very temple and out in nature. But then this right here, this makes it sound like it's kind of like an underground dungeon. So, I don't know. Maybe it's both. The first thing that came to mind was, since I just finished playing FF10, that one, like, underground prison section. I forgot what it's called. But it had the Via Purifico song, you know? That's the kind of setting. But then it just completely, like, shifts to, like, a chorus section. Oh, I didn't even check if these have context. I'll check later. As in, I don't know if the requester said anything with it. I will check after. Huh. Okay. It's almost over. Dun, dun. So 12 is definitely, you know, one of these outliers in the community, I feel. I don't even think it's a hot take. I think it's just kind of known. And I think that's why 12 lovers like it, is because it's one of those. I've been now playing Final Fantasy since... I mean, I don't know if I'll ever feel like I'm a FF player. It'll always feel like a new thing to me. Because when I think of Final Fantasy players, I think of people that have been playing since the 90s, the 2000s. You know, I started very recently, which for me was 2022. So even though it's been 4 years, it feels like nothing, you know. Anyways, in that time, I met a lot of the community. I played a handful of the games. Some are better than others, for sure. But that's kind of expected with a game that has so many entries and where they're all different and not connected, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's the whole point. I think it's very valid to have your opinions on certain Final Fantasy games because they're not all made for you. That may seem kind of weird, but when there's at least 16 games, we know there's more than that. The developers are making games for the people, not for you. You know what I mean? It became very apparent when I started to play certain titles that just, work for me. So, in that time, I've heard a lot of different opinions, from comment sections to live chats to whatever, At the end of the day, it's all opinion based. But the thing that it kind of seems to be reoccurring, there's definitely some reoccurring patterns. And the ones I've always seen have been like, what's weird? I hate to clump all these together, but it's just what I've noticed. I'm saying this from my perspective. I've always seen 1 through 5 as almost all talked about together. Whatever the opinion may be, whether good, mid, or bad, it's always those 5 together. And then 6 onwards, they start to kind of like individualize them. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. Maybe because they're that similar at the beginning. I don't know. Right? A lot of people say 6 is the best game of all time. 7 is clearly the most popular with the most love put into it, and one of my personal favorites. 8 and 12 are the ones. I would say 8, 12, and 13, and maybe now 16, are the ones that people are just kind of like split on. It's like it has haters and lovers, and a very tiny gray area, if that. Those seems to be the ones. I don't really hear a lot of like hate for 9 or 10. It's usually like leans one way. And I think a lot of that has to do with, obviously, this is the 12th game in the series. So if you've been playing these games for a while, you probably expect a certain, level of quality or whatever, or a certain sound. This is a completely different soundtrack. Sakamoto is totally different from even Junya Nakano and Hamazu and, of course, Nobuo Uematsu. This sound, I was expecting to go into more of that tactics sound, that kind of regal thing. There was also a game, I can't remember the name of it right now. The developer sent me a couple tracks from this game because it had Sakamoto in it. And I was like, okay, so maybe he just likes to do this kind of like royal thing to make it sound all kingdom-like and all that. And I did hear that with the other 2 Final Fantasy 12 songs. But what I'm getting at is that this one sounded completely different from all those. I would say this is my favorite 12 song so far because it's painting it in a different light. It's got like a little bit of a fun side to it and a little bit of an adventure. Although I'll admit, I didn't know until last year that 12 had I don't know if I want to say the word remake, but it had a different version, right? The Zodiac Age. This was uploaded 3 years ago, but it says Final Fantasy 12 original soundtrack. So let me know if I heard the original or if I heard Zodiac one. Which I'm surprised they did. Like I said, I feel like this is one of their maybe lower selling ones. I wonder why they actually made a remake of it. Not that it doesn't deserve everything. I'll look at the context for these later. But I really enjoy that song. I really enjoy that quite a bit. This conflicting titles: Jahara, Land of the Gareth, and the song here is called Esper, so maybe it was a mistake. But it looks like a airship theme, maybe. Whatever the song title is, here we go. Yeah, this is nice. It's like a sense of adventure, and it's just another side of 12 I haven't heard yet, so I like it. You know what? In the meantime, let me look up the... No, I'll look at it after. It sounds like a boss theme. Sort of. Oh, I thought that was someone breathing. that? That's an egg shaker, I think. Maybe the first time I hear vocals in 12? It's a totally different side. This is exciting. There's definitely like a high fantasy feel here. Which I think is what 12 is, right? Very high fantasy. Sort of like 9. I think this image is definitely like inspiring what I'm about to say. But it's got this feeling of like angst, like energy of a boss fight. This does not sound like walking around to me. A lot of percussion on that one. Let me take a very quick cut so I can read what these were about really quick. Alright, back. So, lo and behold, these are both location themes. A little vague, but the second one does not sound like a location theme at all to me. Unless that's like late game walking through this very linear sandstorm location. That sounded really intense. What that was giving me was, speaking of FF10, very light spoiler, I'm not going to say the name of the character or anything, but it's a kind of like a boss setting spoiler, if you don't want to know, starting now. In FF10, when you're fighting the boss fight above the airship, you know, when you're somehow not falling off the top of it, that I mean, I think it was the setting in this picture, but that feeling is what I got from the song. This kind of like, you know, high energy, oh no, you know, be alert, be on your toes while you're making decisions. I'm not sure if 12 is turn-based. I would hope, or I would imagine it is. I hope. But truly, I don't know. I have no idea when. Actually, yeah. When did they stop? Not counting MMOs. When did they stop doing that? 15? 60? I don't know. I gotta think about that. I mean, as a default. Because I think even remake, even though it's not a turn-based one, you can. I think there's like a setting deep down that you can sort of emulate it to make it feel like a turn-based game. I never did that though, or never seen it in action either. Anyways, I like this. This is I like when my expectations get shattered a bit, because I really did feel like 12, even though I only heard it 2 times in 4 years, so it's not a really good gauge to, you know. I always kind of associated with Tactics soundtrack, that regal, very castle-like sound, a lot of, you know, everything just sounds like a king is about to just come in through the door. But both of these had personalities to them. The first one is definitely my favorite song of 12 so far. Felt light. It had almost like a Disney-like quality for some reason. And this one, I need more information on this one, because that felt like a boss theme to me. But it sounded good though. It sounded good, and it was totally different from what I expected. So maybe I just need to give 12 more of a chance. Then again, I have more requests for it. I just need to get to them. Not too many though, but I do have some requests for 12. Let me know if I heard the originals with the Zodiac Age, or if they even changed them. I think they did, didn't they? Anyways, thank you to the requester. Thanks to everyone you see on screen. I couldn't be here without them. Thanks you for watching. My name is Jesse in the auditorium. Have a good one.